All right, this is APAB Calc. We are doing the midterm review packet. This is multiple choice number 9, which is non-calculator. So what are all the values for which this function f of x is increasing? So again, you want to start with, hey, what is the ask? What am I being asked for? And in this case, I'm being asked for where is f increasing? Well, the definition of f increasing is that f prime is greater than 0. So once I know that's what I'm looking for, I know that I need to find f prime, right? So I very clearly need to find f prime. And then I'm going to set it equal to 0 and factor, and then I can use the sign chart to figure out when that f prime is positive. So my f prime of x is going to be a 3x squared plus 6x minus 9. I see a really nice GCF of 3, and that's going to make my life an awful lot easier when I go to factor. So this is going to factor into an x and an x. I see that the back seats have to be a 3 with opposite signs, right? And I want to net a positive 2, so I'm pretty sure this is a positive 3 and a negative 1. Because if I check, when I FOIL, I get an x squared. The outer is a minus x, and the inner is a plus 3x, which is my 2x, and the last is a minus 3. So I now have all my values, right? So either 3 is 0, which is a lie, or x plus 3 is 0, which is how we get x is negative 3. Right? Or x minus 1 is 0, which is how we get x is 1. Now, you could make a conventional sign chart here, but I'm going to be honest, it's really not worth it for an f prime that's a quadratic, because I know that f prime of x absolutely looks like this, because it's a quadratic with a positive leading coefficient. So like old school algebra, this is definitely a parabola that opens upward. Knowing that, if I know the two zeros, I know that the two roots are at negative 3 and 1, which I put in correct order from left to right because number lines ascend from left to right, so negative 3 should be farther to the left. And then I draw my like really casual smile that goes through those two things. This is not in any way like an accurate version of the graph, but it gives me everything I need because I can see that here f prime is positive, then negative because it's below the axis here, right? And then positive. So when I'm asked when my f is increasing, we want when f prime is greater than 0. Well, that seems to be here and also here, right? So my answer is going to be x is less than negative 3 or x is greater than 1. And I'm looking for this answer, and that's my answer C. There is an interesting other side note. So let's say that you really are terrible at factoring or your brain just like has a total meltdown. Like let's say that you get here and your brain just shuts down. One option is to just pick x values that fall in all of these intervals and see if you get a positive f prime. So like if I know this is my f prime, if I try f prime of 0, for instance, right, 0 falls in the interval from negative 3 to 1. If I try f prime of 0, which is the easiest option here, I get 0 plus 0 minus 9. F prime of 0 is very clearly negative, right? F prime of 0 is definitely a negative 9. So that makes this one a no, right? F prime of 0 is a negative 9. 0 also falls in this interval. So again, that makes this clearly a no, right? This interval doesn't include 0. So I can't rule that one out just yet. But this one, f prime of 0, again, would count as all real numbers. And sure enough, that's also a no, because 0 falls in the all real numbers. So down to a 50-50 chance, right? And honestly, the easiest thing to do at that point is if I pick the number 2, right? So 2 satisfies C, but it doesn't satisfy D, right? If the number 2, when I plug in, which is a pretty easy number to plug in, if the number 2 gives me a positive f prime, then answer C. If the number 2 doesn't work, it's got to be answer D. So there are multiple ways around this. You do need some calculus. You really have to at least have the knowledge to know what f prime looks like what f prime is. You have to be able to differentiate to get from f to f prime. But if you completely like blank and don't remember how to factor or don't remember how to make a sign chart, there are options on multiple choice that you don't have on free response, and it's really important that you see it that way. So if I did that, I would find that f prime of 2 does actually work, right? If I plug in a 2, I'm going to get a 12 plus another 12 minus a 9, right, which is definitely positive. So I'd get a positive 15, which means this one does work. So it has to be C, and I can rule out D. So so the option is like if your brain blanks, right? So if you blank, you could always substitute into f prime and then knock out values as you need to, right? So, and that would also and notice I picked 2 very easy values of x. picking x equals 0, which is inarguably the easiest x value to plug in, ruled out 3 of the answers as instantly wrong. Again, you need the knowledge to know that f is increasing means f prime is greater than 0. You need to have a note card for that you know that information, and you definitely need to be able to differentiate this f, but that's definitely a good shortcut if you're struggling.